Hello and welcome to this tutorial for Blackboard 9.1. Today we're going to take a quick overview look at the Grade Center. Now to get into the Grade Center, you're going to go to the control panel on the lower left hand side of the screen, select Grade Center, then select Full Grade Center. When the Full Grade Center loads up, you'll notice that it has some columns already in it. The first two columns should be last name and first name, and you will notice that they're grayed out. Now the reason for them being grayed out is to indicate that they're frozen in place. And notice there's a scroll bar here, and if I scroll all the way to the right, they stick into place, and only the columns that are not frozen are going to take a move. There's also a few columns in this Grade Center that are going to be there by default. They're not going to be available to be removed or deleted from the Grade Center, but they can be hidden if you don't use them. That's username, student ID, last access, and availability. Now they're always going to be there by default, but in a later tutorial when we start talking about how we can manage these different items in the Grade Center, you'll be able to learn how to hide those items. Some of the other items that you can take a look at are the Create Column, which is a column creation button, so you can just put in a column and start entering in grades for an item. You have the Create Calculated column. It gives you a little bit more flexibility in that you can take specific columns within your Grade Center and put them together in specific ways and calculate a grade that will calculate out there in those cells. There's also the Manage button. Now the Manage button is a pretty big one. It's going to have a lot of options for manipulating your Grade Center to customize it to however you would use it. I'm just going to tell you right now, one of your biggest links from this menu is going to be column organization. You can do a few things from that menu, like reorganize it, which columns are in what order within your Grade Center. Some of these other ones are going to be dependent if you use like weighted grades, for example. You may have to set up categories. If you're not using weighted grades, you're not going to be using categories. And another one that's a pretty important one is the schemas. The schemas itself will give you the ability to set a range for your grades. For example, 90 to 100 is an A, 89 down to 80 is a B. So that's the kind of thing that grading schemas is about. Finally, we have the reports, which will give you the ability to create reports based on your Grade Center. And then on the right hand side of the screen, we have the Work Offline and Filter button. Work Offline will give you the ability to download your Grade Center and save it out as an Excel document. Then you can make changes and re-upload it into the Grade Center environment. The Filter button is more of how you're taking a look at your Grade Center. If you wanted to look at specific categories, if you wanted to look at specific statuses, or different things that you've set up, grading periods for example, or just the discussion board entries, you can all do that from your filter. So that basically concludes the overview of the Grade Center. Go ahead and take a look at some of our other tutorials to do specific functions. And this concludes this tutorial for Blackboard 9.1.